ואת לכל חפץ תחת השמיים, עת ללדת ועת למות, עת לטעת ועת לעקור נטוע, עת להרוג ועת לרפוא, עת לפרוץ ועת לבנות, עת לבכות ועת לשחוק, עת צפוד ועת רקוד, עת להשליך אבנים ועת כנוס אבנים, עת לחבוק ועת לרחוק מחבק, עת לבקש ועת לאבד, עת לשמור ועת להשליך, עת לקרוא ועת לתפור, עת לחשות ועת לדבר, עת לאהוב ועת לשנוא, עת מלחמה ועת shalom. In the words of Ecclesiastes, a season is set for everything, a time for every experience under heaven, a time for planting and a time for reaping, a time for keeping and a time for losing, a time for loving and a time for hating, a time for embracing and a time for refraining, a time for slaying and a time for healing, a time for laughing and a time for weeping, a time for dancing and a time for wailing, a time for birthing and a time for dying, a time for speaking and a time for silence. The time of mourning is a complicated time, filled with many emotions and memories. We begin our service with a recitation of psalms and prayers, thus linking Edith's life with the 3,000-year-old tradition of the people Israel and the eternity of God. Mizmor LeDavid, Al Adonai miagor b'olecha, Mishkan behar kodshecha, holech tamim ufal tzedek, v'dover emet bilvavo. Lo ragal al lishono, lo asa l'rehu ra'ah, v'cherpa lo nasa al krovo, nivze beinav nim'as, v'et yirei Adonai yichabeh, nishba leharav lo yamir, kaspo lo natan beneshech v'shochad, al naki v'lo lakach. Ose eile lo yimot le'olam. Psalm of David. Do we deserve to enter God's sanctuary? Can we merit a place in the presence of God? Live with integrity and do what is right. Speak the truth without deceit. Have no slander upon your tongue and do no evil to others. Do not mistreat your neighbor, but honor those who revere Adonai. Never retract the promise once made, though it may bring you harm. Lend no money at unfair rates and accept no bribe against the innocent. Make these deeds your own. Then shall you stand firm forever. Talmidach chachma yimet, mi mevi lanu tmurato. Ki yesh la kesef motza u'makom lazahav yazloku. Barzel me'alfar yukach ve'even yatzuk nechusha. Ve'chochma me'ayin timatzeh. Ve'zeh mekom bina. Talmidach chachma im met, mi mevi lanu tmurato. There is no replacing a person of wisdom. There are mines of silver and places where gold is refined, where iron is taken from the earth and copper smelted from the rock. But where can wisdom be found? And where is the source of understanding? Indeed, there is no replacing a person of wisdom. It's traditional to sing Eshet Chayil. On Friday nights, it's a tradition to sing it at the Friday night table. It comes from the last chapter of the book of Proverbs, and it uses an alphabetical acrostic, starting with the letter Aleph and ending in the letter Tav. And it describes someone that I think is so fitting for Edie. She was indeed an Eshet Chayil. Eshet Chayil mihimtza, verachok mipnini mikra, batach balev bala, veshala lo yechsar, gemala tu tov v'lo ra, kol yimei chayeha, kapa parsa leoni v'yadeha shilcha levyon. Oz v'hadar levusha v'tischach miliyom acharon, piha potcha b'chochmat v'torat chesed al-lishona. V'tzofia halichot beita v'lechem atzlut lo tochel. Kamu v'anecha v'arashruha v'alev v'halala. Rabot banot asu chayil v'at alit al kulanan. Sheker hachain ve'vel yofi, Isha yirat Adonai hitit chalal. Tenula mi priyadeha, Michaleluha v'asharim maseha. What precious find is an Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor. Her worth is far beyond rubies. Her husband puts his confidence in her and lacks no good thing. She is good to him, never bad, all the days of her life. She opens her hand to the needy and extends her hand to the poor. She is clothed with strength and splendor. She looks to the future cheerfully. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is guided by kindness. She oversees the activities of her household and never eats the bread of idleness. Her children, they come forward and they bless her. Her husband praises her and says, "Many women have done superbly, but you surpass them all." Charm is deceitful and beauty vain, but a God-revering woman is much to be praised. Extol her for the fruit of her hand, and wherever people gather, her deeds speak her praise. So I'd like to invite Sister Suzanne to come say a few words.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Today we celebrate the life of my beloved sister Edie. She wore many hats. She was a sister, she was a daughter, she was a wife, mother, grandmother, and an exceptional teacher. She was not just my oldest sister. Growing up, she was a guiding light in my life. She was the cornerstone, foundation of my family. Born with an innate, nurturing spirit, she embraced her role as mother and grandmother with unwavering love. Her family meant everything to her. She took immense joy in the laughter and happiness of her children and grandchildren. Despite coming from the most challenging background, she defied the odds and graduated with 2 master's degrees, demonstrating her relentless determination and passion for learning. As a teacher, She was the beacon of hope for her students, especially those from underprivileged backgrounds. She didn't just teach, she inspired. I watched it. Her classroom was a sanctuary where every child felt valued and seen. She took it upon herself to gift her students with books, rewarding them for their achievements with thoughtful presents and gifts, often using her own hard-earned money. It was more than a job for her. It was her passion. My sister was an incredible teacher. She truly believed in the power of education to change lives, and her dedication was evident in everything that she did. Growing up, she was always there for me and our brother, making sure we had what we needed, guiding us through life. She was just 3 years older than me. She took on the role of caregiver, walking me to school, taking care of me, cheering me on in every endeavor. Her kindness and support shaped my life in countless ways. But her warmth extended beyond her family. She was cherished by many and had a wide circle of friends who admired her for her generosity of spirit. She was the cornerstone of our family. Not only was she cherished by many, but she followed her faith, much like our grandmother. She lived her values every day based on her faith, showing genuine care for those around her. As we remember her today, let us celebrate the incredible legacy she leaves behind, a legacy of love, compassion, and unwavering support. She may no longer be with us in spirit, in body, but her spirit will forever live in the hearts of everyone that she touched. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Carol Crew.
Thanks. This will be hard. I'm a friend of Edie's for over 50 years. We met when Larry was 3-ish and our son the same age. We met in Hadassah. I'm going to begin with some words from the song, You've Got a Friend. When you're down and troubled and you need some loving care, and nothing is going right, close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. And I knew that Edie would always be there, and I would always be there for her. People were drawn to Edie because they saw her openness and kindness. She loved people and always put their needs before her own. Whether it was her family, friends, or newcomers, she welcomed everyone with an open heart. No matter when you visited, Edie entertained with her varied dishes and incredible baked cakes and cookies. You never left Edie and Neil's home without samples. Edie was generous beyond belief. A great part of Edie's life was her involvement with her Judaism. She always told me her role models were her grandmother and her father. In adulthood, she became a bat mitzvah and prided herself in reading the Torah. Speaking and understanding Yiddish provided her with much joy. Even in the home that she was recently at, she was speaking Yiddish to everyone. Always involved in the temple and advanced Jewish studies filled her heart and nourished her intellect, which was sharp. She always remarked how she was a lifetime learner, and Edie belonged to several book clubs, continued learning all the time about her Jewishness and other areas of learning. She volunteered in many nourishing ways. For many years, Edie taught a course in the summer. I believe it was in Lafayette College, and it was a course teaching young people about the Holocaust and anti-Semitism and how to prevent it. And she met many young people and had great effect on their lives. They went up to her and told her so. She adored her children and grandchildren. She brought them up with love and instilled a love for Judaism. For their bat mitzvahs and bar mitzvahs, she sat at the loom weaving their talits and the kippurs. We saw life through the same lens: enthusiastic, love of people. Few people exhibit such admirable characteristics as Edie. She was warm, open-hearted, ready to connect and show her heart. One of the things Edie was proudest of was her Jewish heritage, as I just mentioned. I was talking to another friend of ours the other day who called me Rhoda, who has a great sense of humor, and she remembers when Edie and Neil had just completed decorating their house, and then Neil got word that they were going to move to Allentown, and they had decorated, and Rhoda said to Edie, but your chair matches, no, your wallpaper matches your chair. It's so beautiful. What are you going to do? And the next day she walked into the house and saw Edie on a ladder taking down the wallpaper so she could take it, and that was Edie. There was no stopping her. She could do anything, anywhere, anytime. She had a great sense of humor, and we also remember her in 9 months pregnant with Debbie on her stomach, planting her garden. There's so many memories through. She was a dancer, a singer, a jokester, a balabusta, in the arts, in her teaching. I had the joy of going to her school and seeing her production of a multicultural, something she worked on in school that was just absolutely amazing. She and I had much commiseration about teaching. We shared that as well. And at Mirror Lake, that was a place we went in the summers. Edie couldn't do volleyball, and she just kept practicing until she was star pupil and won awards as well as in tennis. She and Rhoda had a major tournament where they were neck to neck, and those were the fun, crazy days, and the fun, crazy days continued in different ways. So may she rest in peace. She'll be in my heart forever, and she was.
I'd like to invite grandson Brandon.
It's very hard to boil the essence of my grandmother down into a couple of pages, so you'll have to forgive me for writing the only way I know how. So, death is a painful thing. We know it's coming. We know that none of us, no matter how good we are, can stop it. But we never really understand what that means until it comes. On August 6, 2024, I lost my grandmother. All of you lost someone. A wife, a mother, a sister, a friend. And while we are all fortunate to celebrate and enjoy the life and love of Edie, my bubby, we must now all face the loss of her together. It is a rare thing in life that you meet someone who doesn't just exemplify goodness, but manifests it. My bubby believed with all her heart that compassion was the only way forward, that love and understanding and kindness for everyone, without hesitation or regard, was the most important quality a person could have. It was her gift, her superpower. Back in college, I used to share my philosophy papers with her, the kind of deep, over-intellectualized pieces that anyone with a life wouldn't bother to read. And I know she didn't understand most of it, but she tried. She learned. She did everything in her power to make me feel heard. And I know she did that for everyone who was lucky enough to know her. That was especially true for all of her grandchildren. Whether she was spending hours with us on Skype to teach us how to read our bar and bat mitzvah passages, or painstakingly handcrafting each and every one of our talits, or carefully and passionately recounting the courageous tales of her father, our great-grandfather Maurice Marin, or baking us treats and buying us clothes, or simply just showing up to every single event we asked her to, she was there. She was there for us. For a long time in my life, I've pedestalized the virtue of sacrifice. My bubby actually read one of those long, drawn-out papers on the topic. Then she told me it was good and brilliant and all of the other adjectives that seem to dominate her vocabulary. But I never knew why I felt that way. I never understood why I believed sacrifice to be such a good thing.